It's about that time to break down Week 8 of the Big 3 as we head on over to Miami, Florida, American Airlines Arena. To my right, former NBA world champion. No better person to fill in for my dude, Thomas Scott, the one and only Tracy Murray. Thank you so much for joining us, Tracy.
Well, shoot, thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure.
All right, we're heading on over to Miami, Florida, American Airlines Arena. Enemies taking on three-headed monsters. 3-3 enemies, 2-4 three-headed monsters. Tracy Murray, break this game down.
Well, shoot, the enemies everything is around Gilbert Arenas. So if he's able to create offense for them, then it's easy buckets for Craig Smith and all the rest of the guys that are feeding off of him. But Gilbert is the key to that. Now, when you're talking about the three-headed monster, you got Rashard Lewis.
Yeah, absolutely.
And everything runs through him. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf has been shooting the heck.
Balling. He had a great game last week.
And Gary Payton's going to push those guys. Their backs are against the wall. So they need, right now, serious wins down the stretch to try to make a playoff run.
And it didn't look too good for three-headed monsters last week. I mean, we had a nail-biting game. All fans were at the edge of their seats, and then boom, triplets. Joe Johnson hits that four-point shot to take the game and the win, man.
ISO Joe! Come on, man, you can't guard Joe Johnson.
Let's move forward. Tri-State 2-4, taking on the 2018 Big 3 champions, Power 5-1. Tracy Murray, let us know.
That's going to be a tough one. I think Power has definitely got momentum. They're the champs. Nancy Lieberman's doing her thing with them. Big baby. No one can stop him on the inside. I mean, for a guy so big, he has real light feet, and he can move around or he can go through.
Man, he's surprising so many fans out there. Like, you know, he still got it. He still got it, right?
Yeah, he can play. And then you add Corey Maggette, who is the captain, of course, who can score.
MVP.
He's definitely a former MVP. Katino Mobley, who can still play for people who didn't know that. Don't let the gray hair fool you. He can play. And, you know, when you have that experience on the team that's used to playing with each other, too. Quentin Richardson, they all played together with the Clippers.
Yeah.
So when you have that experience of playing together, it's a natural chemistry.
You gotta love it. Okay, man, final game of the evening. Ghost Ballers, 3-3, taking on Trilogy, 4-2, of course, coached by the one and only Kenyon Martin. Tracy Murray, break it down.
Well, Trilogy is definitely on a run right now. Their chemistry's gotten a lot better. They made different changes. They got Samuels, and they have Quintel Woods.
Nice. Great pickup for them.
Great pickup. You got a defender, a guy that can put the ball on the floor and create and score the basketball. Carlos Arroyo is my man. That was my teammate in Toronto. He can play. And, of course, you got Flight White. You know, Flight, he doesn't just fly. He can score the basketball. He can shoot it from three. So you have a nice mix of chemistry there with those guys, and they've got good momentum going down the stretch.
I can see this as game of the week. You know, Ghost Ballers really need this victory, and Trilogy being on a 3-game winning streak, it'd be nice to see them win 4 in a row also, you know?
Of course. Now you're threatening the guys at the top. You're threatening Power. You're threatening the triplets. And it's like, hey, I'm nipping at your feet now. You know, so you have some competitiveness at the top leading into the playoffs.
And that, yeah, exactly. So my next question for you is, as we get closer to the playoffs, how do you see, you know, the top contendership of the Big 3? Who you see moving forward along the weeks to come?
Well, those 3 teams that we talked about, but you got to keep an eye on Bivouac because Reggie Thea's got those guys doing things. Can you say Will Bynum?
Oh, my God.
Will the Thrill Bynum, 33 points out of 50.
I mean, setting a Big 3 record, and we're going to get into that later on in the show. I mean, but this is just, he's playing spectacular ball, right?
Can no one guard him? You think no one can guard Joe Johnson? No one can guard Will Bynum. Nobody.
Well, look, man, former NBA champ Tracy Murray, I want to thank you so much for joining us, being a part of this, you know, filling in for my man Thomas Scott.